Kimberly McGeorge, NDCNH, and I tried to record this earlier, and shocker, my phone went dead. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about national parks and state parks. And yes, they're protected because they're beautiful areas, but mainly they're protected because they're ley line areas. And most of the ley lines in this country and around the world, not all of them, most of them, or a majority of them, are held by dark forest energies. And because they're held by dark forest energies, underground bases and things have been built under these parks, as well as entrances that have been there for centuries, I guess, to inner earth. So you can literally stumble into a world where you can't navigate and you may not be able to get out. Also, there's a lot of portals because of the ley lines and just the portal energies in these parks. So a lot of times when people are disappearing, they're not being taken by dogmen, they're not being taken by Sasquatch, they're not being taken by aliens. I mean, they might be, but literally they're walking into other worlds. They're walking into inner earth. They may have stumbled into a base because there's a lot of holographic coverings that people inadvertently, because people are dumb and people are nosy and people can't see the dimensions, and so they can't navigate some of these places, and so they get themselves in things that they can't get out of. Yes, some people are picked off the trail and brought for experimentation and lose time and all of that. Yes, some people are killed by crazies on things like the Appalachian Trail and stuff like that. Not saying there's not logical, quote, 3D explanations, but a lot of the David Paulidis 411 stuff is BS. He knows what's going on. He's a paid informant. He's part of the whole thing. He's been proven to be a liar on many occasions. And so a lot of this, in my opinion, is they're walking through portals and they're not being able, to navigate their way back out, or maybe a one-way portal because of the ley lines. They're walking into inner earth again. They're not being able to get back out. They may be in a base. They might not want them to get back out. So a lot of these disappearances or deaths are a result of not necessarily super mystical stuff, but definitely things that most of you aren't familiar with that some of us are. So my warning and my caution is be very careful when you go. Stay in crowds, stay in the more public places. Don't go off exploring on your own. If you get like a spidey sense of something wrong, pay attention to that. I don't recommend camping in state parks or national parks, which is funny because I basically live practically in a state park, but my property also is a portal property on 4 acres of quartz. So that's going to automatically kind of make it really magical and mystical, which is great for me because of my knowledge and what I do, but it's not so great for other people. Not everybody would love it here. And there's probably places on my property that I shouldn't walk into and I might not get out of as well. So just a little caution about the happy, you guys think it's so nice your government, protects state parks and national parks. Second reason that these parks are protected is because the creatures that you don't think exist, they know exist. They know the hybrids exist. They know the fae exist. They know the little people exist. They know the dogmen exist. They know the inner earth beings exist. They know the dragons exist. They know the, Sasquatch, the dogmen. They know the theys that run this reality, that run this game, know that all these creatures exist. So they also are protecting you from them and them from you, because a lot of these beings live in these ley line areas and travel these ley line areas, and they're training up my ear implant, which is so interesting. But so they want to minimize contact between you and these beings. So that's why a lot of times parks close at dusk or close at certain hours. Not all of them, but a lot of them has to do with the creatures in that area and what's going on in that area. And if you can talk to a really honest park ranger, which is good luck because they're threatened within an inch of their life for revealing what they know, if they know anything, I'm not saying they all do, they'll tell you story after story after story of all these creatures and creature encounters that they've had and things that they've seen and stories that they've heard. And of course, this isn't limited to national and state parks, but a lot of these beings, and more, including, again, you have the ET connection, and I have some photographs from an underground base, near an underground base that I got of some really interesting beings. And don't show those pictures a lot, but anyway, a lot of us do see things and do have the ability to see things and do have the ability to capture things on film in these areas. And if you talk to the employees of the park, they know a lot more than they're saying. And so that's the second reason. It's to protect the beings from you and you from the beings. Not saying all the beings are going to chase you down, hunt you down or anything, because they might not. But they just obviously don't want people to know all the layers and levels and dimensions of this game, because then you'll realize that you're more than you think you are, and you're more powerful than you know, and that this is nothing whatsoever what you've been programmed to think. Like and subscribe.